Most people think growth is just about discipline. Work harder, learn more, improve yourself. But if that were the full story, change would be much easier. Because the real challenge isn't always effort. Sometimes the real challenge is identity. It's the quiet discomfort that appears when you start becoming someone different from who you've always been. The strange hesitation when progress starts changing how you see yourself. Because growth doesn't just change your results. It changes who you believe you are. And your brain treats identity as something that must be protected, even if that identity is limiting you. Your identity is not just a personality description. It's a neurological shortcut. Your brain builds a story about who you are so it doesn't have to rethink every decision. I'm a hard worker. I'm shy. I'm creative. I'm not consistent. These become mental rules. And once your brain accepts a rule, it tries to keep your behavior consistent with it. This is called self-consistency bias. Your brain prefers behavior that matches your self-image because consistency reduces uncertainty. Which means sometimes your biggest obstacle isn't difficulty. It's that your next level requires becoming someone your brain hasn't fully accepted yet. This creates a strange psychological truth. Familiar struggle can feel safer than unfamiliar success. Even if your current situation is frustrating, it's predictable. You know how people see you. You know what's expected. You know how to operate. But growth changes that. It introduces uncertainty. New expectations, new pressures, new environments, and your brain often asks an unconscious question. If I change, what else will I lose? So sometimes resistance isn't about failing. It's about the cost of becoming different. One of the deepest fears connected to identity change is social. Humans evolved as group-dependent creatures. Belonging meant survival. So your brain still monitors social stability carefully. Growth can sometimes threaten that stability. You may worry. Will people still relate to me? Will they think I've changed too much? Will I still belong? Sometimes people unconsciously slow their growth to maintain social comfort. Not because they lack ambition, but because belonging is a deep psychological need. Your brain may treat social stability as more important than personal expansion, even if you consciously want growth. Your brain dislikes identity gaps. The space between who you were and who you are becoming. During growth, you often enter this uncomfortable middle phase. You're no longer your old self, but you don't yet fully feel like your future self. This can feel disorienting, because the brain prefers clear categories. Known identity feels stable. Unknown identity feels risky. So during transitions, your mind may try to pull you back toward the familiar version of yourself. Not because it's better, but because it's known. This is also why identity growth often comes with imposter feelings. When you step into a bigger role, your external reality may change faster than your internal self-concept. You may objectively belong in the room, but internally still feel like the earlier version of yourself. Your brain hasn't fully updated its model yet. Identity updates through repetition, through evidence, through time, not instantly. So what feels like fraud is often just psychological lag. Your identity catching up to your reality. Changing identity also requires neurological effort. Your habits, reactions, and thinking patterns are built into neural pathways. To grow, you must build new ones. This process is called neuroplasticity. But building new patterns requires attention and energy. Your brain naturally tries to conserve energy where possible. So it often prefers familiar behavior even when you want change. This is why becoming a new version of yourself can feel tiring at first. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because you're literally rewiring patterns your brain has relied on for years. What many people eventually realize is this. Growth isn't about becoming someone fake. It's about becoming someone expanded. Someone your past self was trying to become without knowing how. The fear you feel when outgrowing your identity isn't a stop sign. It's often evidence you're entering unfamiliar territory. And unfamiliar territory is where development happens. The goal isn't to eliminate that fear. It's to understand it. To recognize that your brain is trying to protect stability while you are trying to create expansion. And the people who grow the most aren't those who feel no fear. They're the ones who understand that identity is not fixed. It is built, updated, refined, and sometimes outgrown. Because at some point, Everyone faces the same quiet decision. Stay loyal to who you used to be, or become who you're capable of being. And the people who eventually move forward usually realize something important. You are not betraying your old identity by growing. You are finishing the work it started. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And have a scientific day.